The story you're reading this week is The Secret Message. It's a folk tale. A folk tale has certain characteristics. It's based on traditions and beliefs of a people, usually from long ago. It usually teaches a lesson, and it often uses animal characteristics to symbolize or represent a human quality. In your story this week, the first line starts, "Many years ago," which is showing that it's a traditional story from the past, many years ago. In it, it says a wealthy Persian merchant kept a parrot from India. In the story, the parrot can talk, which is a human trait. Remember, it's called personification. So see how this plays into the story. And then as you're reading it, also look for the lesson that it teaches at the end of the story. It has a good lesson. I'd like to introduce you to some vocabulary with the story this week. You will not have a spelling city assignment with this vocabulary. The first word is attracted. Attracted means drew the attention of. The brightly colored flower attracted the butterfly. We have the word dazzling. Means so bright that it's almost blinding. The fireworks in the sky were bright and dazzling. Fabric, material that's woven or knitted, such as cloth. The girls' towel and clothes are made from fabric. Greed, very great and selfish desire to have or get something. It was greed that caused the boys to grab more cookies than they needed. An interesting coincidence is this is also a vocabulary word in religion this week. So you'll see that one later. We have the word honest, truthful, fair, trustworthy. Leo was honest and told his mother the truth about the broken window. Requested, asked for. The customer requested service from the waiter. Soared, flew very high in the air. The seagull soared upward high over the ocean. Trudged, walked steadily and slowly. The tired hikers trudged slowly up the path. The skill we're going to be working on this week is theme. The theme of a story is the central message or lesson that the author wants you to understand. To identify the theme of a story, look closely at what the characters say and do. So we're going to look at a little excerpt of a story called The Fisherman and the Kaha Bird. And when you're reading your story, you're going to be filling out a paper similar to this. I'll explain that in a minute. First of all, let me read this portion of the story to you. The Fisherman and the Kaha Bird. Long ago, there lived an old fisherman who made his pitiful living catching fish. All day, the old man sat on the riverbank waiting for the fish to bite. But he never had more than one fish or two small fish to sell at the market. He and his wife were always hungry. One morning, the tired old fisherman trudged slowly to the river. Suddenly, a great bird with bright, dazzling silver feathers settled in the tree above him. The delighted fisherman knew this was the magnificent Kaha, a glittering bird that occasionally appeared to help the poor or the sick. "I see you work for very little reward," the Kaha said. "I wish to help. Every day I will bring a large fish to your house that you can sell at the market." The old man couldn't believe his luck. As the days passed, the honest Kaha kept her promise. The fisherman sold the fish and came home with plenty of food. Soon he was bringing home clothing made from brightly colored silk fabric for his wife. At the market one day, the shaw's crier made an announcement. "Find the great Kaha for our eminent shaw and receive a reward of 50 bags of gold." The fisherman thought, "If I had 50 bags of gold, I'd be rich." But how can I betray the bird? He argued with himself until finally his greed for gold blinded him to the generosity of the Kaha bird. He told the Shah's crier about the Kaha and requested assistance in catching her. He asked for 400 men to help. So for this portion of the story, so here we have, long ago there lived an old fisherman who made his pitiful living catching fish all day. There's a clue as to what our theme is going to be. Next we have, I see you work for very little reward, the Kaha said. I wish to help. Every day I will bring a large fish to your house that you can sell at the market. So there's another clue or detail from the story. On the paper you have, these clues are called details. The third would be, I see you work for very little reward, the Kaha said. I wish to help. Every day I will bring a large fish to your house that you can sell at the market. So here we have, the fisherman thought, if I had 50 bags of gold, I would be rich. But how can I betray the bird? So here he's tempted by the 50 bags of gold. That's another clue. And then our theme ends up being greed leads to loss. And I'd like you to read the end of the story to you to show you the actual theme. That evening, 400 servants followed the fisherman home. They hid among the trees as the fisherman set out a feast to tempt the bird. When the Kaha landed in a tree, the old man said, "Come dine with me, dear friend. I wish to express my gratitude." The Kaha, touched by the fisherman's kindness and attracted to the delicious meal, flew down to join him, and he cried out to the servants to help him. The startled Kaha spread her wings. She began to fly up, with the fisherman pulling at her. A servant caught the fisherman by the feet, but the bird rose higher. A second and third servant grabbed onto the first until soon 400 servants hung by one another's feet as the Kaha soared upward. Looking down, the fisherman could just make out the river below. If only he hadn't betrayed the Kaha, he would not be in this predicament. There was but one thing to do. The fisherman let go of the great bird's feet. The servants and the fisherman tumbled from the sky and landed in the river. It was many weeks before the fisherman had healed enough to fish again. Every day the old fisherman looked up at the sky for a sign of the beautiful silver bird, but the Kaha was never seen again. So there we have the theme of the story, which is greed leads to loss. So all of those details that you saw before gave us hints to the final lesson that you learned in the story, that he shouldn't have been wanting all the gold when he had enough fish to buy nice things. So greed leads to loss. So the paper you're going to be filling out, it's going to say detail, detail, detail theme. And that paper, I don't need it sent to me. You can just use that to help practice this skill for the theme of the story. Enjoy reading your story. The Secret Message.